Hello, Gary Champion, Psychic Medium. Um, this video is going to be about death, Dr. Death. And I see a lot of death in my head, and I talk to people who are dying, and I talk to people who have died, of course, since I'm a medium. And I'm going to run through a few statistics with you, and then I'm going to give you something that they didn't give you. They're the reason why. Um, in this country, we had 28,000 homicides last year. I don't know how good or bad that is. Seems like a high number. 132 suicides every day. Kind of a low number, I think, because they're probably counting obvious suicides, but people kill themselves in slow ways that didn't countable. They didn't die of what they said. They died of something I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. Heart disease is the number one killer in America. 695,547. Eesh. That's preventable. A little exercise and a good diet. I say a lot of the heart disease people are probably would I would move into the category of suicides because they're eating themselves to death. They're doing things bad for the health, smoking, drinking, no sleep, a variety of things. Cancer is number two. That's no surprise. 606,213. Heart disease, 695,547. Cancer, 606,213. I can remember when I was a kid, there was one lady in the neighborhood we lived in that had cancer. That was the oddest thing because we didn't have it. You didn't hear about it. Um, Maybe they just weren't checking for it. The 50s was a long time ago. But cause of death would probably be something else. They'd say it was something else. Really, probably was cancer. Anyway, interesting thing is, and I've told this story before, the lady, no one would speak to her because they thought cancer was catching. That's how little we knew about it. You just didn't see it. But they thought you could catch it by being in the same room with someone who had cancer. So people ostracized her. They wouldn't talk to her. My mother told me that story. That interesting. COVID, 118,853. I thought the number would be a lot larger than that. Unintentional injuries and accidents. I guess I didn't write that one down. It's the number four killer, though. And I'm going to pay some of those are suicides, but you know, uh, they crashed their car into a tree or something like that, and really their intention was suicide. Called an unintentional accident. Uh, Preventable deaths. That's a good one. Obesity. Too much food, too little exercise. Why are they eating so much? Why are they exercising very little? Well, food's an attraction and exercise is not. I exercise every twice a day, and I've not had one moment where I enjoyed it. I'm not an exercise person. I never was. I never worked out. I had jobs that kept me physically fit, and as soon as I retired from the job I was doing, I fell apart because I didn't do any exercise. Cigarette smoking is a preventable death. Obesity is preventable. That's what the people that know or think they know say. Obesity's a preventable death. Too much food, too little exercise, cigarette smoking. All you got to do is quit. That's easy to say. Oh, yeah. Just say no. If someone's attracted to drugs, they're going to take drugs, but drugs isn't on here. The top four killers is not there. And the most likely time for death is 3 to 4 a.m. Everybody's asleep. And I've talked to people, no, I don't want to say that. I've talked to spirits who have passed, and they say they do that because they don't want the family to be around when they pass. Oh, he'll be okay for the night, and they go home. They have supper. Maybe they call the hospital. Oh, he's doing fine. And 3 or 4 in the morning, he's dead. And they call him, and they all go down there. Well, he was just fine. He waited till 3 in the morning to pass. It's very common for a spirit to tell me that, especially if I'm speaking to the relatives that are still here. Anyway, it's a lot of statistics, isn't it? And I was riding along in the car with my wife today, and it came out of me that the cause of most deaths is loneliness. We've isolated ourselves. COVID did a lot of that, but we were kind of isolated anyway, splintered off. We used to get along, now we don't. Um, I don't leave the house unless I have to go buy food or something like that. Go to the doctor's office for a periodic checkup. I have one of those coming up next month. Um, but loneliness, to me, I mean, I talk to a lot of people, talk to people who are lonely, and it's something that comes up from the other side is your health is deteriorating. When you're lonely, you don't take care of yourself. If you have someone with you, if you have a partner, you tend to take care of yourself. I know that I take care of myself for my wife. I mean, I look old, but I don't have to be old. I've always had a young mind. Anyway, there. If you have a reason to shape up, women, if you have a husband that you care about, then you do. You take care of yourself. If you don't, if you don't care for him or whatever, not taking care of yourself could be considered a reason for divorce. A lot of divorces, you get fat and lazy, you know. Why, loneliness. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. That when you're alone, you don't have anybody to bounce things off of, no one to talk to, no one to. And it's not just COVID that's isolated us, politics is isolated us. Your families are split apart because these people are on this side and these people are on this side, and there's no way they can talk to each other. It comes up sister and sister, brother and brother, brother and sister. They can't have a conversation. They can't have Thanksgiving dinner without politics coming up, and it ruins everything. But it used to be that way. People had opinions. And, politicians were people you made fun of. Seems like politicians are getting dumber. I didn't say that, did I? Did I say that out loud? Well, that's it. That's my ruling. Politicians are more interested in themselves and filling their bank accounts up and opposing something than going with something that might help the country. They're so polar opposed that they can't agree on anything. They can't agree on what the walls in the bathroom color needs to be. They can't agree on that. So why would they agree on something like roads or water or air pollution? Things that are killing us, that do cause lung disease and things like that. We're kind of killing ourselves. Oh, we've got to have those big businessmen. They've got to run their plants the way they want to. They can't tell them how to run their plants. So let them spew that crap in the air, and then your babies are sick all the time, chronically. The water they drink's not as clean as it was. Well, it's almost as clean as it was. See, over money. Money's the big deal today. Those that have the money make the rules. I think that's always been true, but it seems more true. The thing is, these things were always true in the background. You know, you didn't really hear about it. No one talked about it. Wasn't on the internet. But it's true, and people are blatantly open about it. You know how money rules everything. But I think loneliness is the biggest killer because we isolate ourselves. A lot of people don't go see doctors anymore. Can't afford it. Um, loneliness, if you have a partner, I was just saying about my wife. I said, you've got to make an appointment to have your eyes looked at. Your eyes are deteriorating like mine. These are new glasses. I've had them a few months. They're what I wear all the time now. The little bifocal in the bottom and regular vision on the top. And believe it or not, this is the only lens, this is the only frame they had that would fit me because I got a fat head. True story. Yeah, the only one we've got's this. You need 150 millimeters, and this is the only one. Anyway, I've got these because it's all they had. But I like them. Anyway, you tell your partner, get your eyes checked. Make an appointment to go see your doctor regularly. Took her there today. Sat and waited for her. She came out good, but you never know if you don't go. People are afraid of what they'll hear. Does it matter if you hear it or don't hear it? Yeah. Especially if you're alone. If you have someone to share it with, they'll say, "Oh, let's make an appointment. Let's go down and have that looked at. You've got a lump somewhere. Let's go have it looked at." Because you love this person and you don't want them to pass on you. You want to hold on to them. You value them. Well, we don't have anybody to value but ourselves, which may be why we're all becoming very selfish. We've just got ourselves. I don't. I've got Bunny and Peanut the Wonder Dog. It's a healthy situation when you have company. You don't have to be married because I read a statistic this morning that young boys are not getting married. They're not even dating. They don't buy cars. They're sitting in their mama's house. Girls, a little more out there, but women are getting married and men are not. That's the trend. I forgot what the number was. Men often see marriage as a heavy burden responsibility, especially if they don't have a job, don't have any skills, didn't go to school, didn't do anything, are not interested. Women are looking family. So it's a completely different perspective. Women are looking, they want kids, they want to raise them. Um, anyway, loneliness, the biggest killer. It leads us to not check ourselves or care. COVID, I've had COVID. Before we knew what it was, I had it early. But wore a mask the whole time after that. Any place I went, I had a whole pile of, I ordered masks online, had masks for everything. Couldn't get in any place without a mask. That's to protect my wife as well as me. Because if I caught something out there, I certainly was going to bring it home. And I wouldn't know that I'd given it to her until 3 to 5 days when the incubation is. And then I'd have made my wife sick, might have killed her. Couldn't have that on my conscience. So I wore a mask all the time. I haven't had a reoccurrence, but I'm careful. We went to her doctor's office today, and it said on the door, it said, "We need masks." I said, "Darling, we've got masks in the car. Let's go get some masks." And they provided us masks. So we put our mask on and sat down. Don't want to infect somebody, get them killed. Killed. Anyway, that's my video for today. Oh, I've got a couple of free things coming up. March the 5th, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, USA, free readings. Just go to my YouTube site, Gary Champion Psychic Medium, and I don't know, I think you have to join it. And be there at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, USA. And we have people from Australia and places like that, so I don't know what time they're logging in, 4 in the morning probably. But I get free readings, and I enjoy it. I don't intend on stopping unless I just can't do it anymore. March the 19th, 2 Sundays later, free healing, which is in the chat room for those of you who don't know. Um, Again, you go to the chat room and we'll all introduce ourselves. The girls always introduce themselves, girls and guys. And then whoever's in the, I call it the green room, but the chat room really, we all send our energy into the chat room, thus healing each other. And we've had some pretty remarkable things happen. Some people are not ill anymore. So free energy. I did see a guy online that I was fascinated with that gives group healings, and he's really good. And maybe I'll give that information out. I don't want to swell his thing to where he can't handle it, but I don't have big a viewership. I was just say Charlie Goldsmith. He has a little thing that he does periodically. He takes a weekend and does free healings. Now, he's really good. You haven't seen the TLC show Healing Healer? I think that's what it is. He's quite impressive. And I've talked to his people, and uh, anyway, I've joined that group. So I think in a couple of weeks he has one, and I'll be there really just to observe more than anything else. He's a fascinating guy. He doesn't charge anything for anything. He's worth $6 million, so he does free healings. He goes around the United States and other countries and just gives free healings. And the result rate's about 80%. So that's pretty impressive. Anyway, um, we're we're doing ourselves in. When I was a child, you didn't see fat people. They're calling them obesity. I'm going to say fat. We didn't see them. It was rare. Most people were skinny. I mean, they could wear a medium shirt, uh, extra large. Hard to find them in the store. You might find some, but they were the last thing people bought. Small, medium, large. That was big sellers. We have too much money. That's a horrible thing to say. We have too much money. It's not the money that we have too much of. It's what we're doing with it. We're feeding ourselves. Uh, it's We feed through depression and other things, stress, tension, all things that kill us. Of course, we have more stress and more tension and more depression because we're lonely. And as I talk to people who are lonely, I ask them questions. Get out there. Why aren't you out there? Oh, I don't have the time. I'm busy working. You don't have time to go out dancing or go to a movie with someone or go shopping or something not alone. You can't make friends. It's very difficult to make friends right now. As you know, if you're listening to this, you know it's not. When I was a kid, you could make friends with everybody. Everybody in the neighborhood was your friend. You'd wave at them and say, "How you doing, Charlie?" And you're going to be at the barbecue this Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to be. They had neighborhood barbecues were very common. Anyway, we've become more lonely and more obese through a variety. I know if you're lonely, the tensions are very high. If you have a partner, they tend to diffuse that. Um, Conversations with people that you like diffuse tensions. Often just having a partner to bounce something off of relieves tension. Tension about silly things. I'll give you an example if you don't tell my wife. She's thinking about going silver with her hair. I said, wow, what a great idea. I mean, what a great idea. It's a pretty color. And she's interested in it, but she's talked about it for a whole year. And you don't want to take sides on women's hair, but I did. I said, do silver. If you don't like it, go back. How hard can that be? Well, it costs $200 to do this, $200 to go back. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. So now she's thinking, okay, I don't really have any impediments. It's not money. It's not whatever. If I don't like it, I can go back. You can go back in a day, just see if you like it. If you don't do these things, you can have anxiety because you didn't do them. For decades, I wish I'd have had silver hair. I would have enjoyed that. It would have changed things. Hair changing is about how you feel about yourself. And anything you can do to make yourself feel better about yourself, I'm for it. There's too many people in the world beating you down. When you find something that works for you, take a chance. What have you got to lose? What other people think? You're going to have to put that somewhere else. You start worrying about your hair color because of what other people think, you're already in trouble. What do you think? You like silver hair? I love silver hair. So I keep telling us because we'd match. Mine's gray. Hers would be silver. But anyway, when you have someone to have conversations with, the stress is less. You don't take pills for stress or obesity or all these other things. You're eating your emotions. Interesting video for me. Anyway, we have free readings, free healings in March, and you're welcome to show up. I guess it's unlimited. I don't know how many people you can have in a chat room, but we seem to get a pretty good group. And the healers on the healing day, they pretty much come every month. The same people, and they're very good. They have a lot of energy there. A lot of past experiences that make them better than your average healer. A lot of them have had diseases and come through them, which gives them great empathy, which makes them better healers. Anyway, I hope the video helps. I don't mean to demean anybody, but put down that pizza, exercise, find a partner. It's sort of like fixing yourself. If you're proud of the way you look and who you are, it's attractive. It attracts people. It attracts men for sure. It attracts women for sure. Make amends with those maybe you had a good connection with, but have fallen out for religious or political or whatever. Have a mate. We all need mates. The more mates you have, the better off you are. Okay, no fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.